Everyone, welcome back. Street Strategy here with another G40 video. Myself versus Adrian. We are playing G40 no bid. I am the Allies yet again. I guess I just like to hurt. Alright, we're going to see what we can do. We got France on the battle board already. And we're just going to get right into it. Let's give her. Germany, round one. For purchase, Germany is purchasing absolutely nothing. Keeping all 30 IPCs. Alright, again, terrifying. Moving on to the combat phase. Let's see what they do. Alright, combat moves have been made. So, 2 subs have gone and attacked the destroyer transport combo off the coast of Canada there. A slew of planes and 2 subs are attacking this destroyer and transport that we forgot to place. Adrian moved all of his stuff in there, and then he was like, why am I moving stuff in here? There's nothing there. And then, yeah, of course, we had to place the stuff that belongs there. We also had forgotten that fighter in Scotland, so that's there now. I don't think we will be scrambling on either of these battles. I think that we will just leave it as is for both of them. He pushed his battleship and sub and 1 fighter and 2 strat bombers into C-Zone 1. Is it 111? Yes, it's 111. 111, so that's that. He pushed a mighty force into France. We'll talk about that later. And then the most hilarious thing we forgot, which the astute observers will have noticed from the brief intro, was that we completely forgot to place Italy on the board. Italy's on the board now, though. Ridiculous. But I guess we were just so excited to play. We just missed the gaping hole right in the middle of the Mediterranean. But it's there now. We're good to go. No harm, no foul. 2 mechs and 1 tank and attack bomber have pushed into southern France. And looks like 7 infantry, 2 mechs, 3 artillery. Got to slide some guys to the... Here, replace that with a German infantryman, if you will. Slide them to the 2 line for being buffed. So that's everything that he's pushed into. Yeah, it's right there, exactly. So we got 7 infantry, 2 mechs, 3 artillery, and is this 5 tanks, Adrian? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tanks pushing into France. All right, and then last but not least, a medium to heavy push into Yugoslavia. 1 guy coming in from Romania, likely to do that whole. He's hoping to not completely wipe out the Yugoslavians and then retreat to Romania is what I assume is happening there. All right. We'll roll these out, see how we end up. We are deciding to test Lady Luck, and we will, in fact, scramble off the coast of Scotland. See what comes of that. All right, now we'll roll them out. All right, combats have been rolled out. France has fallen, but it fell valiantly. We were able to wipe everything out except for his tanks. So his 5 tanks survived, but everything else got wiped out on both sides. South France went miserably for us. He took it with overwhelming force and no hits back. C-Zone 111, equally poor for us. All we managed to do is take out his battleship. We lost a destroyer, cruiser, battleship, and fighter ourselves, so maybe scrambling there was not ideal. This, I've never done better over here. This beautiful destroyer completely saved itself and and the transport it's escorting. And also, this destroyer here got 1 hit back on the subs. So this might be the least I get convoyed ever on UK round 1. So that's really exciting. Yugoslavia, yeah, as predicted, we got Russian troops here representing the Yugoslavs. He pushed in, got 2 hits, we got 2 hits back, and then he retreated to Romania. So now he's right on the Russian border. Okay, I think that's all the combats covered. That moves us into the non-combat move phase. Okay, building up on the Eastern Front, just kind of pushing everything that can get there. A cheeky fighter landing in southern Italy to help protect the Italian fleets via scrambling. That attack bomber landed in North Italy because it had to. All planes in West Germany that could land there landed there, and the planes that fought in 109 had to land in Holland/Belgium. No purchase was made, so no purchase was placed. We'll just quickly add up what they have monetarily. All right, they are at 40 on the tracker. plus 10 for a not war with Russia, and a 5 for not war with Russia, 5 for Norway, Denmark, Sweden. So that's another 10. So that's 50 IPCs. Plus the 19 they just stole from Paris. That puts them at 69. Plus the 30 they kept. That's 99 IPCs. Yeah, that's terrifying. 99 IPCs for Germany's second purchase. All right. That moves us to the next nation. Russia, round 1. 37 IPCs purchasing 11 infantry and 1 mech. And since we're not at war here, and we have no intentions of declaring war there, it just goes right into non-combat moves. So this is how it all looks now. We just quickly remembered these French ships blend in so well with that blue, but they get to convoy, and so we just did that. They both rolled a 2 each, so the German IPCs go down from 99 down to 96. It's not nothing. 99 to 96 doesn't feel like much, but that's a whole infantry less. All right, moving on. Okay, so that's how it all ends up looking. We got 2 tanks and 2 mechs in Stalingrad. The 2 infantry from the Caucasus moved up. The 1 guy from Belarus moved into here, and so did the 1 guy from Russia proper. So there's 2 guys there now. And artillery and the anti-aircraft guns moved everything from Baltic states, Archangel, and Leningrad into Belarus to make a little stack there. Move the guys from Vyborg and Karelia into Leningrad. Make a little stack there. Stack the planes on top of them. And then started stacking in Western Ukraine. All right, so we just place the purchase and move on. Mech placed in Stalingrad, 3 guys in Ukraine, and the remaining 8 guys in Russia. All right, we collect 37 IPCs because really nothing happened, and then we move on to the next nation. Japan, round 1, coming in with 26 IPCs, purchasing for themselves 3 transports. That totals 21 IPCs, and that means they get to keep 5. They keep 5 in the bank. All right, well, let's see what they do. All right, declaring the J1 as Adrian loves to, but we'll deal with China first. So stepping off their stacks, just 1 guy into Chahar, 1 guy into Anhui. The rest will probably follow in non-combat, so we're not going to bother de-chipping that. And then we're pushing here and pushing here. Well, he's pushing here and here and here, attacking this and this, and yeah, I guess that's actually it. Yeah, those are all the fights. So, and he stepped into French Indochina as well. So just going hard in the paint as always. We love to see it, and hopefully we can counter this. All right. We'll roll these out and see what it comes to. Okay, and this is how the battles ended up. Wiped out here, but getting 2 hits back. No hits back there. 1 hit back here. No hits back here, but amazing progress here. The Americans defended the Philippines righteously and took out 2 infantry and 1 artillery. So all that was left to take the Philippines on the Japanese side was this 1 tank. So that's pretty good. And of course, we lost the battleship here, taking out the cruiser. As it was sinking to the bottom there, just fired off its guns and hit the cruiser. All right, so we will get into the non-combat and see where all this ends up. Okay, this is how it all ends up. Massive stack of planes here. You're missing your 2 Strat bombers here.
Yeah.
Where are they? You accidentally threw them away? All right, okay. Let's do 2 strategic bombers that were here. Have to land there. Okay, everything just pushed west into China. That makes sense. Massive fleet combination here. And just the battleship cruiser and 3 destroyers staying behind to protect those 3 transports. And the fighter from Korea moves into Japan. So that is it. That is it for Japan round 1. Should be ending up with 42 IPCs.
Plus 5.
Well, it should be 36 plus 5, or... Well, we'll quickly count it up. Yes, 42. They are sitting at 37, kept $5 back, so that equals 42 IPCs to the Japanese coffers. That brings us to the next nation. America, round 1. Coming in with 52 IPCs. We'll be purchasing an aircraft carrier, a destroyer, a transport, and a fighter and attack bomber, equaling exactly 52 IPCs. Alright, let's see what we can do. Doesn't appear to be any combats in the Pacific side, and also none on the Europe side, so we'll get right into non-combat. For movement, consolidating everything here that can go here, so just bringing the whole fleet down, as well as an infantry and artillery from the west coast. And then panning over here, we take the transport down, and we snatch up Brazil. And we're at war now, so all of our factories became major factories for free. We placed our purchase already. We moved the one fighter on the eastern United States and the one on the west, either way, west, onto Season 101. Got scooped up by the carrier that we placed. And we placed the entire purchase here. So transport, destroyer, carrier, fighter, attack bomber. And then our strategic bomber landed in the UK. Alright, so because we're at war, we get all of our bonuses, minus a few. That comes to 20. We're sitting at 52 because we snatched up Brazil, but we're down the Philippines, so we're still 52. So 52 plus 20 is 72 IPCs to the American coffers. That will bring us to the next nation. China, round 1. 12 IPCs in the bank, just buying 4 infantry. We'll get right into the combat moves. For combat, we got 2 guys from Kwaichao and 2 guys from Sichuan moving into Yunnan with 1 fighter. We'll roll that out and see what happens. Full wipeout and losing none back. That's maybe the best that I've ever done is China in that particular realm, region. Alright, non-combat. Alright, 1 guy moves down, those 2 move down to here, and then the purchase gets placed, making a total of 9 guys in Sichuan, and the fighter obviously has to land there. We have 9 territories plus our 6 bonus, so 15 IPCs to the Chinese coffers. That'll move us to the next nation. Okay, round 1. Coming in on the Europe side with 28 IPCs, purchasing 1 infantry, 1 fighter, 1 transport, 1 artillery for 28 exact. And 17 on the Pacific side is going to be 3 infantry and 2 artillery. Alright, let's get into the combat moves. Alright, so for combat, destroyer moves from 106 into 109, and cruiser from 110 into 109 to attack that German sub. Much deliberation on if the destroyer by itself was enough, and it probably would be, but it's just that sub is in such a crucial convoy zone, we really can't risk not getting the kill on it there. So we're gonna go 2 ships into it, and the planes couldn't help because the planes are needed down here. So this looks kind of like quite a mess, so we'll break it down. But first, the small fights. So the cruiser that started here in 109 went 1, 2, 3 and attacks this destroyer, and the fighter that was in Gibraltar joins, going 1, 2, 3, and will land in Malta. The 2 fighters from the UK back in London go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the classic British Open. Many of you will know this and be familiar with this move. Just bringing everything we can into Taranto there. So those are those 2 fights. It's really messy, but it is a destroyer, a cruiser, a carrier, 3 fighters, attack bomber, and a strat bomber versus his cruiser, battleship, and likely 3 defending fighters. I feel like that is it for combats. For all declared combats. Yeah, I think everything else is going to be non-combat. Alright, we'll roll those out, and we'll be back with how they end up. Okay, pretty good victories here. Absolute victory there. Losing the cruiser here. One of the best victories I've ever seen here. We got 5 hits right off the hop, and he only got 3 back. So did a bit of calculating, some strategic decisions on what to lose. We lost the cruiser and a few fighters, and yeah, this is what we end up being left with. So we have a good bit left there in 97. That's pretty nice. So we're just gonna get right into the non-combat now. Alright, so round 1 Britain is always a lot for non-combat, and especially when you have as much that miraculously survived as I do. So the man and tank, or infantry and tank from Canada, move down here with the battleship from 110, offloading in Gibraltar. Well, that still looks that way. Pulling back to Alexandria, the guy from Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, and everything just pushing into Egypt there. taking the transport that was here and going 1-2, and the guy from West India, and offloading him there in Persia for some extra money. The transport that was here took 2 men from here and went 1-2 and offloaded in Greece. So there's gathering up the 4 guys there, so another 6 guys there in Greece. These guys stayed put. Those guys stay put, and consolidating everything here that we can, leaving the destroyer and cruiser here for now. And then the destroyer from South Africa went 1, 2, 3 over there. All right. Yeah, I think I covered it all. We'll just place the purchase and move on to the next nation. All right, the 3 infantry and 2 artillery placed here. So there's 3 artillery here now and 11 infantry. The transport is placed here, the destroyer placed there, and the 1 infantry and fighter are placed there. This side of the board is sitting at 32 IPCs with its bonus of 5, bring it to 37 without any enemy ships on its convoy spots. Huzzah for that. 37 IPCs to the UK coffers. That's as much as Russia round 1. That's really nice. Okay, and over here, well, we're down 3 from 17. So 14 IPCs to the coffers on this side. And that will bring us to the next nation. Italy, round 1. Coming in with 10 IPCs, purchasing a fighter. All right, let's see what they do for their combat move. All right, going in strong for combat, slamming everything into Yugoslavia that they can from northern Italy and Albania, slamming everything Navy-wise and Air Force-wise that they can into what's left of the British fleet, pushing into Alexandria for free, pushing into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan for free, and into Kenya for free. All right, that is it for the combat moves. Yeah, that's got to be it. All right, we'll roll that out. Be back with how it ends up. All right, success in Yugoslavia. The Allies get 2 hits back, so Italy took it but lost 2 guys. The Italians were unsuccessful here, lost their fleet, but managed to keep their bomber, taking out the destroyer and damaging the aircraft carrier, forcing the 2 fighters to land in Greece. This was all walk-ins. So that puts Italy up 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, thank you. Yeah, just reminded. Obviously, we will grant Italy non-combat moves. All right. So 4 infantry move up into northern Italy. 2 stay behind. A fighter gets placed. Transport stays, and these 2 guys move up. Is there anything else? That was pretty much it. Yeah, that's it for the Italian turn. All right, Italy collecting 14 IPCs. I'm looking at it. I don't think they have any of their bonuses. Yeah. No, they do not have any of their bonuses, but it's all right. Okay. Moving on to the next nation. ANZAC, round 1, coming in with 10 IPCs, purchasing a submarine, keeping 4 IPCs. All right. I'm actually quite certain that there are no combat, so we're just going to get right into the non-combat. All right, taking Dutch New Guinea, pushing everything north into Queensland, that as well, placing the purchase, and just actually that's fine over there. It's more than fine to be over there. All right, that is essentially it. We kept 4 IPCs. We have our original bonus territory plus Malaya of +5. We have the islands bonus +5. That brings us to 20 IPCs, plus the 4 we kept, 24 IPCs for the ANZAC coffers. Moving on to the next nation. France, round 1. We are going to see what we can get done with the precious few remaining units that we have left on the board. Let's get into the combats. Just remember that this very, very camouflaged blue-on-blue French ship is in the juicy convoy zone. So we successfully convoyed one of the poor Italian dollars away. So Italy has 13 IPCs to its name for its round 2 purchase. For combat, we push into here. And I think that... yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, if this was a destroyer, we'd definitely go hunt that sub. But it's not. It's a cruiser, so... nothing to discuss there. All right, so we will just ask Adrian if he wishes to scramble his 1 fighter to save that transport.
No.
No? Okay, well then this transport gets removed, and we move into the non-combats. Alright, moved, stayed put, moved, went 1-2, moved, and cruiser went 1-2, and then the 2 infantry and fighter that are in London will obviously stay put. Alright, round 1 complete. That will bring us to round 2. Germany, round 2, coming in with a whopping 96 IPC purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a monstrosity. It is 8 infantry and 8 infantry, so 16 infantry, and 2 artillery. I imagine he's just absolutely maxing out both Western Germany and Germany. And then he's got 2 tanks, a fighter, and a sub as well, coming up to exactly 96 IPCs. Exactly 96 IPCs. Rock on. Oh, is there a mech in there too? Oh, well, isn't that... Oh, well, how could we forget the mech in there? All right, okay, yeah. And for those of you doing the math along at home, yeah, you'll find it comes to 96 IPCs, I believe. All right, well, that moves us to the combat move phase. War declared, turn 2 on Russia, making every nation at war now. So, no neutrals left. All right. So moving the sub from 111 up into there, as Russia will just submerge. So that could be done in the combat or non-combat, doesn't really matter. Obviously we'll submerge as Russia. Stepping out into Karelia, Vyborg, the Baltic States, Eastern Poland, and Bessarabia. Taking the 2 mechs from southern France with a bunch of planes into Normandy to attack the 1 infantry, 1 artillery there. Taking a bunch of planes to attack the destroyer cruiser, and taking a fighter attack combo to try and finish off this hurt aircraft carrier. Smart plays all around. I think that's really it, right? Yeah. Okay, well, we'll roll out what is to be rolled. I think there's only 2, really, right? No, 3. There's 3 to be rolled here. Everything in Russia was a walk-in. All right. Let's roll it out. All right, getting completely knocked out here, taking out a... Did you lose a fighter or attack?
Fighter.
You lost a fighter, yeah. So losing a fighter here, getting no hits here, and getting no hits here. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. So we'll just move to the non-combat. Okay, so from left to right, the 1 tank and 5 tanks went 1-2, creating the stack of 6 tanks here. You had more guys in Bulgaria than that. You had like 5 guys in Bulgaria. You had 5 guys in Bulgaria.
That's them.
Is there a green chip under there? Is. Silly me. There's a green chip under there I didn't even see. Alright, making a massive stack in Eastern Poland, of course, and amalgamating 6 guys in Karelia. Alright. And all the planes land in this general vicinity, except for these ones that have to land in Holland, Belgium. Okay, so quickly just allow Adrian to place the purchase now. Placing 1 man and 1 fighter here, 2 tanks and a mech here. 7 infantry, 2 artillery here, and a sub there, and then 8 infantry and 2 artillery there. Collecting... Well, we have to count that up, actually. Just a quick change made. The fighter is placed here, and 1 less infantry placed there. So there's 2 infantry placed here and 1 there. Probably just trying to put it in a more strategic place and maybe concerned about losing it. For income, Germany collects 45 IPCs plus its bonus of 5 for Norway, Sweden, Denmark. And that's it. So that will put it at 50 IPCs. But we get to roll for that Russian sub. So we're going to roll 2 dice right now and see if we convoy any IPCs away at all. We do not. So 50 IPCs exactly going to the German coffers for its round 3 purchase, and we move on to the next nation. Russia, round 2. Coming in with 37 IPCs, we'll be purchasing 9 infantry and 1 fighter. Let's get into the combats. Alright, for combat, we're going to take the 5 infantry here and slam them into the 6 in Karelia, plus our 2 fighters and 1 tactical bomber. We'll roll that out, see how that ends up. Alright, we won, but at what cost? We have 1 guy left there. So, that's that. We'll move into the non-combat phase now. All right, we have just amalgamated a really, really mean stack, trying our best to protect the southern area, which is much richer than the northern area. Stack of 33 infantry, 3 artillery, 4 anti-aircraft guns, and the planes went 1 to attack Karelia, 2, 3, 4, 5, because they started at that airbase. So they're down here in Rostov. The tanks and mechs have come 1, 2, and have taken Persia, and their non-combat move, it is pro-allied, so they're eligible to take that now that they're in the war. And all these guys have moved 1 west, but 1 guy has leaped off and stayed in Amur. We placed our purchase of 9 infantry and 1 fighter. We are sitting at 35 IPCs. We're only down 2 from 37, so we're sitting at 35 IPCs. No bonus because of that darn sub there. So it is what it is. All right, so 35 IPCs to the Russian coffers, bringing us to the next nation. Japan, round 2, coming in this round with 42 IPCs to its name, purchasing for itself 1 of each facility for exactly 42 IPCs. The J1 move lives strong in Adrian's heart. So, in his corrupt heart. Oh, boy. Alright, we'll see how it goes this time. Alright, combat. Alright, for combat, the pillaging of China continues. Moving 3 infantry, 1 artillery, 6 fighters, 6 tactical bombers against those poor 4 Chinese infantry, and still taking up swaths of land there, wherever they can. 2 bombers have come 1, 2, 3 into India to bomb it. They're going to attempt a bombing raid in Calcutta there. And also Malaya is under attack as well. Moving a battleship, 2 transports, tank, 2 infantry, 1 fighter, 1 tactical bomber against these 3 British and 1 Australian infantry. Taking the Celebes with 1 guy and the 3rd transport, and this fighter has scooched out and is going to knock out this ANZAC transport. Is that it for combats, Adrian? I think I got them all. All right, we'll roll those out, see how we end up. Oh, and I think, just to spice it up for good fun, we're going to do an air battle here. So my 2 fighters will come up into the air and fight back at his bombers there. Okay, so big success for the... I guess we forgot to do this. Big success for the Japanese, getting exactly 10 damage on this factory in Calcutta and not losing a bomber to either... Also, luckily we also didn't lose a fighter back though, so there's at least that. Took this no problem. He lost 1 infantry, marched into Shan State from French Indochina. He took this with some problem actually. He lost 2 infantry and a fighter, taking Malaya against the 4 infantry that were defending there. And then the ANZAC transport obviously just disappeared as well. I think that's it to report on combats and how that went. So we'll move into the non-combat phase next. Alright, so just pushing more and more in. That can be moved in. Planes landing here. You can actually place your facilities while I discuss this, if you want. That way they can see exactly where they're going as they're going there. All planes that could land here have landed here. This TAC bomber that fought in Malaya had to be picked up by a carrier. So there's 2 transports here and another 3 there. Everything moved this way. A destroyer set up as a blocker to protect the home islands. A massive fleet of 3 destroyers, a cruiser, 2 carriers, battleship, and then these 3 fighters on that air base, protecting them all. All right, and yeah, the facilities place a minor industrial complex and an air base put in French Indochina, and of course the naval base going to the island of Hainan. All right, we will quickly count up just how much the Japanese have taken here. All right, so counting it up, it is 47 IPCs going to the Japanese coffers. All right, that moves us to the next nation. All right, USA coming in round 2 with 72 IPCs, purchasing for ourselves a aircraft carrier, 2 subs, 5 transports here, and 3 infantry, costing exactly 72 IPCs. All right. Let's just get right into the Well, actually, as I look across the board, there does not appear to be too much to do in the way of combat. So I think this might end up being another just getting right into the non-combats. Okay, so for movement, we took the fleet that was in Hawaii and just moved it right down to here, offloading 3 infantry and 1 artillery. So pretty much everything that America starts with in the Pacific is here now, of course, except for the poor sub and destroyer that started off the coast of the Philippines. So yeah, it's 2 destroyers, 2 cruisers, battleship, loaded carrier. And then over on the Europe side, we take 1 infantry and 1 artillery up to Sea Zone 91, offload them in Gibraltar as well. Bring our loaded carrier there and our cruiser and our destroyer and transport. We place our 5 transports and 3 infantry there, just as we placed our Pacific purchase of a carrier and 2 subs, and the carrier caught that attack bomber and fighter that are over there. So that uses up all of our currency. The bomber just sat tight. I didn't forget about it. I just didn't want to risk losing it on a bombing raid when it could be effective in a possible landing instead. So with that all being said, that finishes America's turn. We used our money perfectly, so we just get another 72 IPCs and we move on to the next nation. China, round 2, coming in with 15 IPCs, purchasing 5 infantry, getting right to the combats. Alright, we're going to take 6 guys off the stack with the fighter and attack these 4 guys here. Alright, the 5 guys that stepped off that stack, leaving these 3 men behind, were successful. They lost 3 of their number. So now we just have to decide how we want to move the remaining, these 3 and these remaining 5 guys, where we want to put them, as well as the fighter. But yeah, we have our bonus for a second round, so that's good. Alright, we moved into Shenxi there, kind of a state that touches everything, and we're going to go a little bit more aggressive, rather than cower in the corner. So 10 infantry there. We had 5 guys, and we purchased 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 territories, plus the road. So bonus of 6, so 12 IPCs to the Chinese coffers for the next round. That brings us to the next nation. UK, round 2, coming in with 37 IPCs and 14, purchasing 5 IPCs worth of damage that got removed, and with the remaining 9 IPCs buying 3 infantry. Over on this side with 37 IPCs, buying destroyer and transport, that's 15 IPCs, and then 2 fighters brings it to 35 IPCs, keeping 2 IPCs. I'm going to put these guys further away here, because there's actual British units really close, so we don't want to confuse those with the purchase. Alright, let's just get right into the combat moves. Alright, for combats, there will be none in the Pacific. We are just turtling there as per usual. For here, we got some really spicy ones to try and get back our bonus, because we need all of our original British territories for the bonus, so the British have by far the most difficult bonus to keep and maintain on both sides. So we took the transport here with the 2 men, moved 1, offload in Kenya. So we got 2 versus 1 there. We took 2 guys from Persia and went 1, 2. So there's the transport for that. Offloaded the 2 guys and snuck an artillery out of Egypt and pushed the rest of what's in Egypt into Alexandria. The bomber went from Malta, 1, 2, 3, 4, into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan. The fighter went 1, 2, 3, and the 2 fighters from Greece went 1, 2, 3. So we got 3 big fights here. And then we noticed that there's some low-hanging fruit in Holland, Belgium. There's 2 TAC bombers by themselves in Holland, Belgium. So we took the transport with the infantry and tank and went 1, 2, and we offloaded there and took the fighter out of the UK. And we're hoping to pick those 2 TAC bombers off. We'll see if we can do it. Some deliberation on whether I should bring the battleship in or not. But that's just sending it to its death, and that's a 20 IPC unit I don't want to lose. I'd much rather keep it. So the offshore bombardment would be nice, but I don't think it's that crucial, so we don't want to lose that. Alright, let's roll these out, and we'll be back with how they turn out. Alright, we were successful almost everywhere. So we got Kenya. We failed to get Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, so it's only worth 1 on the map, but remember, for Britain, it's actually worth like 6. We failed to get Alexandria. we succeeded in getting Alexandria, and we only lost 2 infantry doing it. So we knocked out 6 units at the price of 6 IPCs for us. That was huge. And we even won in Holland, Belgium. So it's looking pretty lucrative. If we had our bonus, we would be reeling in an extra $6. But as it stands, it's only 34 IPCs that we're getting. If we'd won this, it would have been, help me out, would have been 40. Would have been exactly 40. But alas, it is what it is. So we will move to the non-combat now. So this is how it looks now. These ships have moved out to the sea zone. We're just sitting tight here. The one guy that was left in Persia went and took Eastern Persia. The 6 guys in Greece sit tight. The plane lands. The bomber and 3 fighters all land there. The destroyer comes down. The transport's left to die. Yeah, we'll just place the purchases. All right, 3 guys there, making that a total of 14. 14 infantry and 3 artillery, 2 fighters, attack bomber, 5 damage on that complex. 2 more fighters going here, so a total of 3 fighters there now, and the destroyer transport combo goes there. That is a wrap for UK. Oh no, wait, we got to quickly calculate the income. So we already established it's 34 on this side. And over on this side, Adrian was shaking his head because he failed to take Borneo. He actually took Celebes, just kind of going on autopilot there, which means that for a whole nother term, we get this. So we have 6 plus 4, so we get 10 IPCs to the British coffers. And that's not nothing. That's really nice. It's a whole extra person, whole extra land unit than if we had just had 6. So that's pretty sweet. That's super nice. Shout out to Adrian for that. All right, that brings us to the next nation. Round 2, purchasing a strat bomber with 13 IPCs. They cost 12, so 1 IPC left in the bank. All right, let's get to the combats. Combat, pushing out the bomber that he starts with and fighter against that destroyer cruiser combo of France's, and then the cheekiest play he has is taking this artillery and just slamming it into Kenya there. So we're gonna see if he gets this, then that's gonna be another really annoying no bonus round for your boy. All right, we'll roll those 2 out and see how it goes. Successfully taking out the fleet there, but we did get 1 hit back, so the fighter is gone. And I have 1 question for Adrian. Why do you suck so much? All right, that actually is pretty good for him because that puts Italy up to... Well, you have all your originals, plus 4. So I don't know why you're at 12 instead of 14 on our chart, but it should put you at 14, actually. All right, so, yeah. We'll just move into the non-combat phase anyways. All right, so I'm moving ever further east. 2 infantry and 2 artillery going to Bulgaria. 2 tanks going to Romania. Purchase place, we got 2 infantry going up into France. 2 staying in northern Italy. And 2 staying in southern Italy. So there's 2 bombers, 2 infantry, and 2 anti-aircraft guns there. And the guys from Tobruk went to Libya. Is that correct? Alright, cool. And obviously this dastardly artillery is still living its best life down there in Kenya. Hanging out, taking on the sights of Mount Kilimanjaro. Alright, so that... Oh yes, so they collect 14 IPCs, but they kept $1. So they have 15 IPCs for their next purchase. All right, that'll bring us to the next nation. Oh, something dastardly just happened. Adrian just noticed that he does have his Mediterranean bonus. There's no surface warships, enemy surface warships in the Mediterranean, so his income goes from 15 up to 20 IPCs. All right, that'll bring us to the next nation. ANZAC, round 2, coming in with 24 IPCs, purchasing this aircraft carrier for 16 and a transport for 7. So that's 23 IPCs, leaving us with 1 left over. I don't think there's any combats to declare, so I think we'll probably just end up going right into some non-combat. Just kidding, we'll take that. Okay, just putting my fleet here and placing this. Aside from the African shenanigans, there's nothing else to move. So that just ties up the ANZAC round. They're only making 15 IPCs now because they lost Malaya, but we still have the island bonus. So it's 10 plus 5 is 15, plus the one I kept, 16 IPCs for ANZAC's round 3 purchase. All right, that'll move us to the next nation. France, round 1, not really having much to do in the fight department. So I think what's going to end up happening is we'll just quickly move what I want to move. This destroyer goes 1, 2, 3. This infantry goes here. We make it a stack of 3 infantry in Tunisia. This infantryman goes there. Actually, we can go like this. And no, that's just silly. Yeah, we'll just put that destroyer right there. It's just better yet here. That's the best spot for it, I reckon. I reckon that's the best spot for it. Just in the med, but just barely. Just ever so slightly touching the med. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens in the 3rd round, but just feels better there than... Oh, actually, you know where it feels best? You know where it feels best? Here. It feels best here. That's where it feels best. Now we got 3 destroyers and a cruiser, slowly building up steam here. And that French cruiser should, I think it should just keep living tucked into that fleet, honestly. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that ties up the 2nd round. We're going to get into the absolute mess of stuff now. Next nation, please. Germany, round 3, coming in with 50 IPCs, purchasing 10 infantry, 2 artillery, and a bomber. An even purchase? Even purchase. All right. Without any further ado, straight into the combat moves. All right, so moving 2 infantry out of France and 2 fighters into Holland, Belgium there. Crazy bombing raid of 2 fighters that are escorts, obviously. Attack bomber and 2 strat bombers going into the UK. We'll see which facilities they choose. The submarine from 125 snaking down to knock out this transport, so that'll disappear. And just stepping into Western Ukraine, and this tank has blitzed 1-2 through Belarus and taken Archangel. The guy in Vyborg, or Baltic States rather, the guy in the Baltic States has taken Leningrad, and the guy from Vyborg has moved into Karelia, supported by 2 tactical bombers there that have come from Western Germany. So if they go 1, 2, 3, 4, they have 1 movement left. They can land in Vyborg or Finland. I believe that is it for the combats. Everything that hasn't everything that hasn't moved will be a non-combat. Did I cover it all? All right, great, covered it all. All right, we'll roll these out and see how it goes. All right, successful bombing raid. We did lift off all 4 fighters, and we managed to shoot down 1 of his fighters, but our anti-aircraft guns were unable to take out any of the bombers. So he got 10 damage with the strat bombers on the industrial complex, and with the TAC bomber he got 3 damage on the airbase. This submarine successfully took out the transport, and the guy in Karelia successfully taken out. Obviously all this was just a walk-in, so that was very successful, and he took back Holland, Belgium, and only lost 1 infantry there. So that'll conclude that and bring us to the non-combat move. Okay, forgive the lighting. We have him moving everything from Eastern Poland into Western Ukraine. The tanks coming from Yugoslavia into Bessarabia. The guys from Romania there. Just pushing everything over here, pushing east. Nothing too special. The two TAC bombers? Yeah, the 2 TAC bombers land in Finland. He's just forgotten to land these planes. We'll get on that right away. Just slide them to Western Germany. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Strat bombers landed there. Whew. And just, yeah, everything that was in France is slowly moving its way east. I'm assuming this mech came from southern France or someplace. It's there by itself.
Actually, 1 sec.
Oh, okay. Right, some quick minor adjustments. These planes are not eligible to land anywhere other than Normandy or Holland, but obviously Holland was just taken, so they had to land in Normandy. So I think that that's it. And then obviously just some stuff has shifted in the non-combat to protect those planes, because there are some transports, some enemy transports in that area. So I think that's a wrap for the German turn. We've counted it up. They are sitting at 53 IPCs plus 2 bonuses. We'll bring them to 63 IPCs. But we'll just quickly roll for that Russian sub up there. See what we get. Hey, we got it. So exactly 60. 60 IPCs goes to the German coffers. That'll bring us to the next nation. Russia, round 3, coming in with 35 IPCs. We are purchasing 9 infantry for 27 and 2 mech infantry for 8, totaling 35 IPCs. All right, let's get right into the combat move. So for combat, much deliberation, but 3 guys, the 3 top guys, step off of this stack and go into Ukraine, and the fighter from Russia goes 1-2. The planes that were in Rostov have gone 1-2-3 into Iraq, and obviously the mobile force that was in Northwest Persia also attacks Iraq. Now, I probably will get flamed in the comments just as I did last game for abandoning the North. I've played against quite a few experienced German players in out of box, and I find that if you don't abandon the North and go south and protect the vital, you need to protect this vital stuff right here that Germany's going for. Like, I feel like you can't protect both. And if you really split yourself up, you can't protect Moscow. And so something's got to give. And so that's just my experience. Maybe you guys have, you know, I wasn't going to just offer token resistance in Leningrad. I mean, I had 5 guys there. I guess I could have moved them back. Maybe that would have been better than going to Karelia. But we did take out 6 infantry in Karelia. This is just the way that I thought I would do it, especially because we're trying to snatch up money down here in the south. But anyway, let me know in the comments what you guys think of this. I always love to hear and read what people have to say. At any rate, we're going to roll these 2 fights out now, and then we'll get to the non-combat. All right, fights went off without a hitch. Of course, this is why I buy a mech round 1 as Russia, just so I have an extra one kicking around, because it seems that Adrian can roll. I'll get all 3 hits coming in with this much, but Adrian will undoubtedly snatch 2 hits back. So we got 2 tanks and a mech left. And yeah, this one went off without a hitch as well. So we'll get to non-combats now. Okay, for non-combat, sliding 1 guy up into Vologda. Sliding the other remaining 8 guys into this stack. So this is a stack of 34 infantry. No, wait, that might be wrong. Give me a sec. 38 infantry, and then 3 artillery, 4 anti-aircraft guns, and a fighter. The 3 guys in Ukraine stay. These planes have 1 more move left, so they obviously had to land here or here. Northwest Persia is the spot. And then the steady trek west, with the 1 guy staying in Amur. And the naval stuff just stays the same. We'll leave the cruiser 114 and the sub 125 and this other sub 115. That is fine, and we are poised to enter the Middle East here. Okay, so for income, if I'm looking at this correctly, we should be sitting right at 30, which we are on the tracker, plus a bonus of 3. So 33 IPCs to the Russian coffers. That will bring us to the next nation. How could we forget to place the purchase? 2 mechs to Stalingrad and 9 infantry to Moscow, obviously. All right, now to the next nation. Japan, round 3, coming in with 47 IPCs, purchasing 7 infantry, 2 transports, and 2 subs. Just looking around, Adrian has already taken the liberty of separating his stack here. Splitting it into multiple different transportable units. Oh, gee, I wonder where those are all going. And all right, we'll just get into the combat move and find out. No combats over in the middle of the Pacific and going east. It's all west. So these transports have all gone and grabbed everything they need. This one moved over, so whole Money Island bonus is his. A full invasion into China, stepping 1 guy out in there, 1 guy out in there from French Indochina, what he can with planes and infantry and artillery and a tank. He is slamming into Yunnan here, and also hitting heavy into Shenxi there, the big stack of Chinese guys with the fighter, attacking it with all he's got there, everything he can. That is all great. And then, of course, the most pesky of all bombing raids. Just continue to keep hammering in there. As you should. It's strategically sound to do that. All right, I think that is all there's to report on the combat moves that have been made. So we'll just roll these out and see how we do. Okay, the Chinese forces did their best, but they are wiped out in the end. But they took out all infantry with them. So that's pretty nice. And then these bombers got to bomb completely unmolested. The anti-aircraft guns failed me yet again. So our factory is now sitting at... He got another 12 damage. So the factory is now sitting at 17 damage. That's 3 red and 2 gray. Where else? So it was really just those 3 were the only fights. This was all just walk-in stuff. So we'll get to the non-combat move now. All right, and this is how it all ends up looking after the non-combat's been done. Just moving stuff this way, landing planes. It's kind of just a big old mess in China. Planes landed wherever they could or had to, putting up blockers here to stop the Americans, putting a transport here and building up a strong fleet presence there. So yeah, it's looking pretty safe and secure for the old Japanese right now. But we'll see if we can't bunker bust through it. I'm gonna try and not make the same mistakes we made last game. All right, so we'll just get them to place his purchase here. We'll just go over quickly how much they made. So they're sitting at 53 IPCs on the counter, and they have their bonus. So it should be 58 IPCs that they collect. But we're going to recount that to make sure, because we didn't actually count all the territories up. We just were going along on the tracker, and we could have missed something. So we're going to count it all now. Yeah, we were way off. It's 10 in China, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 20, and these are worth 15, so that's 35, 37. Japan is up 37 IPCs. They start with 26. So they're not sitting at 53, they're sitting at 63, with a bonus of 5, puts them at 68 IPCs. They go ahead and they collect that, put that in their coffers, and that brings us to the next nation. America, round 3, coming in with 72 IPCs, purchasing 2 carriers, 2 destroyers, and 4 subs. This is how everything looks on the Pacific and Atlantic sides. So we'll just get right into the combats. And I think we have a few juicy ones. All right. For combat, we got the man and artillery that were here with the cruiser and transport going 1, 2, 3. Offloading into southern Italy, and the bomber comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'll go 6, 7 into Greece. We'll see if we can snag that. Hopefully that works. All right, and over here, I think just looking around, I mean, I feel like I'm in a serious pinch. I have a few schemes, but they're not the best schemes, honestly. So all we're gonna do right now is we're gonna slip the sub out, attack this destroyer with the two fighters. That's all. So those are the 2 fights. We'll roll those out and we'll see how they go. Okay, so we lost this fight. We got 2 hits, took out his anti-aircraft guns, and he got 2 hits back, took out our land units, and the bomber will... You know what? No, the bomber will roll one more. We're gonna do one more roll there. We did it. We got 1 hit with our bomber. I think that was worth the risk. You guys will see why shortly. All right, so we lost our bomber, but we took out yet 1 more of his. Okay, that will bring us to the non-combat move phase. Okay, so the astute Axis and Allies player observer will notice that Hawaii was completely exposed to this transport and those 3 transports. So this is essentially what I had to do. I had to snag 2 destroyers going 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3 to block it off from here. And although in hindsight, I don't know how important it is to block off this fleet. It only has 1 transport. Can only land 2 land units there. Although with 2 offshore bombardments and yeah, all I have defending Hawaii is planes. So yeah, you know, I think this might be the way to go. Yeah, this might be the way to go. I do need those planes to land on the carriers that I placed. There's my purchase up there already. I'm thinking that this is the right move. Again, there's probably far better Pacific players that are that are watching this, that are shaking their heads right now. I'm holding on and I'm doing the best I can, all right? Okay, let's go to the Atlantic side. Over here, obviously, we have the cruiser and transport that landed there. We brought the one transport that had 2 infantry into Gibraltar, the 5 transports over there. I realized that I purchased poorly, so I actually only had out of all the combat units here, there's only 11 for the 6 transports. So cheeky me, I brought an anti-aircraft gun with to fill that slot. So that means one transport can't be used for attack, but it can come in anywhere we do attack and drop an extra guy in an anti-aircraft gun. It's not entirely useless. It's good for defensiveness. So I like that, especially because the Axis have a lot of air units on this side as well. So that'll conclude America round 3, which will bring us to the next nation. And this nation really just doesn't have much to speak of at all going on for it. We can just, literally, don't mind as I reach with my one hand here. We can literally just put 4 infantry here, and that is our turn done, collecting 2 IPCs. So that's it. Oh, I see that those 3... No, we want to go here. This is the better place to go for sure. It puts the Japanese, they have to, well, they don't have to, but if they attack it, it puts them way more north and out of position. All right, that'll move us to the next nation. All right. UK, round 3. For 34 IPCs, buying 4 points worth of fixing damage and London there. 2 infantry, bomber, minor industrial complex. On the Pacific side, keeping our $10. 100% keeping our $10. All right, let's move into the combats. Okay, so from left to right, we have a destroyer, comes 1, 2, and all 3 planes step out to attack the sub that is in 110. The battleship comes 1, 2, 3. This transport goes 1, picks up this artillery, 2, picks up the guy in Malta. Remember, it starts at a naval base, and then 3, offloads. So if those of you that were lamenting the American loss there is our second chance. So we got 1 infantry, 1 artillery, a bomber, and an offshore bombardment attacking Rome here. And all that's in Rome is a bomber and 2 infantry. These guys are sitting tight. And then our only other fight is we're taking 2 guys and stepping out into Burma with all of our planes. So we're going to roll all that out and be back with the juicy results. An incredible start, truly. Knocked out the sub there. We got it, and we only sustained 1 hit back. So we take Italy and its 20 IPCs that it had. So that is incredible. We're filled with glee. Absolutely filled with glee there, and also successful here, just losing 1 guy. So we have a slew of stuff to move in non-combat, so we're going to get right to it. Okay, so slew of movement all over the place here. The planes land here. The 3 fighters that started in Egypt go here. This fleet will stay put. The guy from Eastern Persia moves into West India. This transport moves 1 down to pick up the purchase. Might as well just place the purchase while we're doing this. So bomber, 2 infantry, minor industrial complex in Persia. The bomber had to land in Greece, well protected there. Those guys had to sit tight. The Canadians came down, had a destroyer and transport up there with man artillery. Everything you see here in Spain is actually in Gibraltar. There's just no way to fit it in Gibraltar, and I want to space it out so you guys can pause the video and see what I have. If you want, so yeah, these 3 planes are the ones that attacked that sub. Remember, the airbase is damaged. They only had 3 movement left. So 1, 2, 3, 4 is the total movement it takes them to get to Gibraltar. Yeah, the destroyer sits there. We're gleefully sitting in southern Italy. I can't mention it enough. Oh yes, and this mech and tank went 1, 2, and they're ready to hunt. We're ready to gather up our bonus come the next round. We're very excited, and hopefully we can now assist Calcutta's defenses. Okay, so looking at it, we're sitting at 34 IPCs. I'll double count and make sure that that's correct. Yeah, we're sitting at 34 plus the 20 IPCs that Italy gathered. So it's really nice that we gave them that bonus after all, that extra 5, that helps. So that's 54 IPCs to the UK coffers on the Europe side. We kept our money here and we're at 6, so 16 IPCs here. for the 16 IPCs here for the UK Pacific side. All right, that is a wrap for the Brits. That'll move us to the next nation. Italy, round 3. No IPC, no capital to spend, but we do have units in France, Northern Italy, in Bulgaria and Romania, and we have an infantry and artillery there and artillery there. So let's see what Adrian can come up with for those units. All right, the only combats are the 2 guys from Northern Italy sliding into that artillery, hoping to take back Roma, and then probably the more annoying move he could make is taking the artillery from Kenya and sliding it down into Tanganyika territory? Oh gosh, I'm sorry, anyone that's from there. I don't even think it's called that anymore. That sounds like it's whatever. Okay, yeah, that territory. All right, okay. We'll roll that out and we'll see how it goes. Success for the Italians. Absolute success. And yeah, obviously that was a walk-in. So we will move to the non-combat phase now. All right, so the tanks move back. The guys from France come down. These guys move over 1. Is that it? Felt like there was some more to it than that, but yeah, no, I guess that's truly all the units that Italy has left. All right, that's done. Collecting 14 IPCs, I believe, right? Should maybe even more. Did we not? Did we count this yet? Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually have all of your originals. So yeah, 14, I guess. Yeah, 14 IPCs to the Italian coffers. No bonuses this time around. There are surface ships in the Mediterranean. All right, that will bring us to the next nation. ANZAC, round 3, coming in with 16 IPCs, purchasing 2 subs and an infantry. That totals 15, so we keep 1 IPC. Let's get right into the combats. So cruiser goes up with 3 subs, 3 fighters, going 1, 2. Then just go 3, 4, land wherever. And then the sub goes 1, 2, 3, or yeah, 1, 2, 3. Sneaks right past this fleet. There's no destroyer here. Takes out this transport. So we'll have to roll this fight out. And if you're wondering why in the world I would use the cruiser and not the destroyer, it's because he can do the same thing with his subs, 1, 2, and attack this fleet. So I'm going to have to figure out what we're going to do about that, because if this fleet and that fleet collapse here, yeah, it's going to look really ugly. So let's just roll this out and move on from there, shall we? We got it. We're doing it now. So the planes landed here. These guys move up. The transport went 1, 2, picking up another guy. Just chipped him right there. The destroyer snuck into here. This blocks not only the subs, but also all these ships, or the battleship at the very least, from coming into here. The planes probably doesn't stop so much. Yeah, but that's whatever. We do what we can. Yeah, that's pretty much that. And over on this side, the 2 ANZAC guys from Anglo-Egyptian Sudan went back up to Egypt. Can start making a slow march in a more useful direction, I guess. That concludes the Anzacians. We have all of our original, but we don't have Malaya, so there's no bonus for that, but we do have these islands, so there's a 5 for that. So, and I guess we should place our purchase. There, purchase is placed. So that means that we have 15 plus 1, 16 IPCs going to ANZAC, and we move on to the next nation. France, round 3, in the same predicament that Italy was in a moment ago. Well, that's just normal for them. We just have stuff to move, and I don't even think I have a single combat to declare here, so I'm just going to go right into non-combats. All right, so for the movement, we're moving 1 this way, moving from Transjordan into Iraq, moving from French Equatorial Africa into Anglo-Egyptian Sudan, holding down the fort. For those of you that have seen the first video, you probably know why, and holding down the fort there. We probably are just going to leave the fighter there. So that's that. That is a wrap for round for round 3. Let's move on to the next nation and round 4. Germany, round 4, coming in with exactly 60 IPCs, purchasing a tank, 9 mechs, and 6 infantry. That's for exactly 60 IPCs. All right, let's get into the combat move. Moving 3 bombers in to bomb Gibraltar. And pushing everything that was in Western Ukraine into Ukraine proper against those 3 guys. And this tank has gone 1-2 and blitzed in and out of Smolensk back to Archangel. And a sub has come out, and it is supported by 3 fighters and an attack bomber in destroying this destroyer. And our airbase is so damaged that we can't even defend with that 1 French fighter. I'm just kidding. I never would have done that. Would have lost it if I did. Is there any other fight that I'm neglecting to mention, Adrian? I think that's it. Yeah, that's probably it. We'll roll it out, see how it goes. We will be lifting off to do an air battle here, so we'll roll that and see how that ends up. Everything went mostly as expected. We lost the destroyer, got no hit back. The air battle, we got he got no hits on us, and we were able to knock one of his bombers out with the air battle / anti-aircraft guns. And then he rolled with the remaining 2. He rolled max damage on the naval base, so 6 damage on that. And here he slammed everything in, so obviously he wiped out the 3 guys, but the 3 guys got 2 hits back. That's very nice for us. So he's down 2 infantry there. Okay, we'll move to the non-combats now. Moving and shifting such that 2 strat bombers, 3 fighters and 1 tac bomber, 4 infantry, 2 tanks, and 1 mech are in southern France, 1 infantry in regular France, 2 tac bombers are in western Germany. The cruiser and transport have moved out to C-Zone 112. Everything here just keeps shifting on east. So 1 guy stepping into Leningrad from Karelia or Vyborg, and the guy from Leningrad stepping into Archangel to partner up with the tank that's there. And just consolidating everything you can in Ukraine. So we'll place the purchase and count up the IPC. Just a slight change up in the non-combat. Moved a mech and 2 tanks down into here. They were here, right? In southern France. They've now shifted to here. Is that all that's changed?
Yeah.
Looks like that's all that's changed. And then, of course, the purchase have been placed. We got a tank and 2 mech up there. Nothing can be placed there. That was just taken. 7 mechs placed in Western Germany, 3 infantry in South France, and 3 in regular France. So that is a wrap for Germany. Round 4. We'll add up its IPCs. Looking like they are at 54 IPCs on the counter chart. So that will bring them to 64, my goodness, blanking. 64 because they have the Norway, Denmark, and Leningrad bonuses. So 64 IPCs to the German coffers. That will bring us to the next nation. Russia, round 4, coming in with 33 IPCs, purchasing not 11 infantry, but rather 3 infantry and 6 mechanized infantry for a total of 33 IPCs. Let's get right into the combat moves, shall we? Okay, we have our Russian combat moves set up, but we should just quickly mention that we just rolled off camera the convoy for the Russian sub, which is now left, but at the end of the German turn, it was there, and it got the full convoy, so Germany goes down from 64 to 61 IPCs for its round 5 purchase. Every bit counts, right? So for combat, we got the sub coming down, attacking the cruiser and transport. He can scramble, but it will do nothing because there's no destroyer there, so we're just hoping to get the sneak attack on that cruiser, delete that transport. That would be money. 1 guy stepping from Vologda into Archangel, and the fighter coming 1-2. You can kind of see it hiding there. And then 1 guy stepping out into Belarus from there, 1 guy stepping out from Russia into Smolensk, 2 guys and 1 artillery stepping into Western Ukraine to take out that mech and anti-aircraft gun. So we will roll those 3 fights out and be back with how they ended up. We did absolutely terrible on Archangel. We lost our infantry and our fighter, only taking out 1 infantry for him. So the worst trade deal in the history of trade deals, maybe ever. as a certain someone once said. Moving down from 125 here, we got it. We completely wiped out his cruiser and transport. That is minty fresh. And also we got his mech and anti-aircraft gun in Western Ukraine, only at the expense of 1 infantry. Also pretty good. So we'll move into the non-combats now. For non-combat, sliding my 1 mech and 2 tanks into Egypt. And the continuous march west over here, placing the purchase of 3 infantry in Stalingrad and 6 mechs in to Moscow and everything. 1 guy steps out of the stack from Bryansk onto Rostov. The remaining, I believe it was 8 infantry, step onto here. I can quickly count that brick just to let everyone know how many infantry that is. That is a stack of 42 Russian infantry, and just for comparison, there's 22 German infantry here. So now everyone is up to speed on how it all looks. All right, we collect 31 IPCs. We're sitting at 31 on the slider right there, and but we have a bonus of 3 for having Iraq. So 34 IPCs to the Russian coffers, bringing us to the next nation. Japan, round 4, coming in with 68 IPCs, purchasing this monstrosity. So 3 infantry, 1 artillery, 2 subs, 3 destroyers, a transport, and a bomber, all totaling 68 IPCs. So let's see. Let's put that aside and see what he does with what he has on the board for his combat move. Maybe one of the most combats declared in 1 turn that we've had yet. So attacking sub destroyer, 2 fighters, battleship attacking there. Sub, 2 fighters attacking this destroyer in 31. Cruiser and 2 fighters attacking the destroyer in 30. Sub and fighter attacking the cruiser in 46. Destroyer fighter attacking the sub and destroyer in C zone 55. That must be this. Oh, you got another one to declare? Ah, I see. And a massive landing happening on Midway. A massive landing happening in Midway. Okay. That'll be that. That's very good. Very, very good. All right. Okay. So that moves us to this side of the world. We got 1 infantry, 3 artillery, and 6 TAC bombers attacking Qinghai, and we got the tank that was in Yunnan going 1-2 to Sikeng. So if this goes successful, then China will be off. We have 2. This transport came from Java, I believe. Java or Borneo. Anyway, it came from over here somewhere and went 1-2 and offloads 2 infantry, and attack bomber comes from French Indochina to assist in taking Burma there. I'm assuming that these fighters and strat bombers have a non-combat to do, and that's why they're not being involved. But I think I covered all the combats, and hopefully everyone was able to get a good look at every single one that is happening and just how. I'll try and do a couple good pans here so that anyone who wants to or needs to pause the video can do that. But we're going to roll them out now. All right, very successful Japanese turn. He only lost 1 infantry there, obviously walked in there. Got this one for free as well, didn't lose a guy on that one. Took out the carrier for free, took out the 2 destroyers for free, took out the cruiser for free. We traded destroyers here, leaving only planes and submarine, which means that the submarine just stays. That's a nice little touch for us. I think that is all of them covered, all the fights covered, so we will move to the non-combat phase now. So the fleet from the Caroline Islands moves up and protects the transports that are at Wake Island. These 2 fighters, I believe they're from here, have to land on the Marshall Islands. A consolidation of forces at the Philippines. TAC bomber lands here. Those TAC bombers have to land up there. I think that is how it looks. We will get the purchase placed and let you guys know just how much money Japan is walking away with. All right, the purchase has been placed. The 2 destroyers, 2 subs, transport, bomber, infantry, artillery placed there, 2 infantry, and a destroyer placed here. All right, that will bring us... Oh, and they're sitting at 65 IPCs plus 5 bonus here. We'll bring them to 70 IPCs for their 5th purchase. That brings us to the next nation. America, round 4, coming in with 72 IPCs, purchasing 2 loaded carriers. That equals exactly 72. We will get right into the combats. On this side, move on this side right here, moving the fleet 1, 2, because the naval base is damaged. Moving 1, 2, offloading 1 man in Normandy and 1 man in Holland. On this side, taking the transports out, 1, 2, 3 into Malaya and 1, 2, 3 into Borneo, liberating those for UK on the Pacific side, and taking a cruiser going 1, 2, and the fighters going 1, 2 into there, and then taking the 3 fighters and attack bomber into the sea zone, the 6 subs, the 2 destroyers, and the 2 aircraft carriers as well. We're going to see what we can get done there. Oh, and I will also quickly roll for this ANZAC sub to determine if I take any money away from Japan. Yeah, we take 1 IPC away from Japan. So we will roll these fights out. Well, I don't know why I'm panning over here. There's no fights there. But we will roll those 2 fights out. It's just the 2, really. And I'll be back with the result. All right, and that's how the fight ends up, with me having 4 subs left. Everything he had being gone. I just got lucky. I honestly got pretty lucky, and we also got this without losing anything. So that was also quite the blessing. All right, that will bring us to the non-combat move phase. For non-combat, offloading everything that wasn't that didn't invade, offloading it in UK. I had to place it on Scotland just for room's sake, but it is all in the UK. And over here, taking what we have left and moving it back home. All right, so we will place our purchase. Okay, America's sitting at 57 IPCs for owning, we went up 5 for owning that, and we placed our purchase there. So if we're sitting at 57 plus 20, 77 IPCs go to the American coffers for their round 5 purchase. That will bring us to the next nation. Next nation is laughable because there's nothing for China to do. It has 2 IPCs, keeps 2 IPCs, hopes to be liberated. We move on to the true next nation. UK round 4, coming in with 54 IPCs on the Europe side. We're going to buy 6 factory repairs. That's going to be distributed amongst, well, we're getting none here. We're going to do 1 on the airbase to get it just operational, and then the remaining 5 on the... yeah, I'll figure out how to disperse it after. It's but I know for sure we're going to make the airbase operational, so at least 1 on that. Maybe... yeah, just 1 on that, and then 5. That's what we'll do. We'll do 1 on the airbase and 5 on the factory. So the factory will only have 1 damage, and the airbase will have 2. And then we're purchasing an artillery, 2 transports, an aircraft carrier, and 2 mechs and a tank. Over on the Pacific side, with 16 IPCs, we are going to fix 9 damage out of the 17, which will put it at 8 damage, meaning that, which I already have placed here, 8 damage, meaning that there's 2 slots left for placement. So with the remaining $7, we will buy an infantry and artillery. All right, let's get into the combat move. For combat, taking the transport, going 1, 2, offloading 1 guy here, taking the bomber going here, battleship coming for the bombard, see if we can wipe these guys out. And for Russian bonus reasons, oh my goodness, that light, I'm so sorry. And for Russian bonus reasons, not take it. Hopefully he gets just 1 hit. We're playing a real gamble here. Down over here, taking the 2 guys onto the transport, moving up, offloading. The bomber comes as well, and the tank blitzes through Kenya, taking back our territory. If we get this, we got our bonus back. That'll be minty fresh. All the fighters come here and attack Burma with 3 guys hopping off the stack, and 1 fighter comes out of India and attacks the transport that's there. All right, I think, just looking around, I think that that's all the fights we can do. or that we should do, I should say. All right, so we will just roll those out and see how we end up. This fight went off perfectly. Took Burma, incurring no losses. Took out the transport, no problem. Took out this, no problem. But here is why you shouldn't gamble, folks. The infantry and bomber are gone. All on the only consolation prizes, we took out 1 infantry of his. For those of you wondering why in the world I tried attacking this, and the way I tried attacking it was because the Italians go next, and they can move here, which blocks the Russians from getting their bonus. The astute person will know that. Will notice that that would be the reason that anyone would ever do that. But that is why we kept this mech behind. So you can go 1, 2, and maybe that will hopefully be our last shot at stopping any sort of Italian shenanigans. All right, so that's our 1 non-combat move. I'll do the rest of them now. Okay, planes all landing there. The fleet moving this way. The bomber going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. It started here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 landing there. Make it even harder for the Italian to move up, but we'll see. I mean, I know there's a bunch of German planes, so shenanigans can always happen. Moved these guys up, and that's when I noticed the pesky German sub that I left on the American turn on purpose so that I would knock it out on the British turn. But I forgot to do it in the combat, and once we've started rolling dice, there's no going back. So the sub lives there for free right now. That is most unfortunate. All right. Bringing the artillery and infantry up, bringing 2 fighters here, and bringing 1 fighter into the sea zone to be caught by our purchased aircraft carrier. Also, we'll just make sure right away is to fix the chips on here. For 1, there's only 1 damage on this factory, and we have to swap that green one out for 2 gray. Is there anything else that needed to or had to move? No, we'll just get right into placing purchase and adding up income. Okay, so for this side, we're sitting at 32 IPCs plus our 5 bonus gives us 37 IPCs. Purchase has been placed, carriers put there, the artillery's placed. It's kind of a mess. Maybe we'll chip it properly in a little bit here. But that's how it looks over there. Over here, we placed our 1 infantry and 1 artillery. We chipped it all up. We are collecting 13 IPCs on this side, courtesy of the Americans liberating some territory just previously. So 13 on this side, 37 on that side. With that done, it moves us to the next nation. Italy, round 4, coming in with 14 IPCs, purchasing an infantry and a fighter, keeping 1 IPC. We'll get right into the combat. He did it, folks. He really did it. That's his 1 and only combat. We'll roll that out, see how we do. Sweet, sweet retribution, baby. All right, we'll get into the non-combat. Non-combats is just the 2 tanks moving this way, and then the purchase placed in southern Italy. That will bring us to... Oh, wait. And figuring out IPCs, it looks like they actually still have all of their originals, and up to, so 12. 12 IPCs, plus the 1 they kept. 13 IPCs, going to the Italian coffers, bringing us to the next nation. ANZAC, round 4, coming in with 16 IPCs. We're just going to purchase 2 destroyers even, call it a day on the purchase phase, and move on to the combat phase. The only combat we have is taking this guy off onto the transport, going 1, 2, 3, going to Sumatra. So that puts Japan down 4 and ANZAC up 4. That's it for combat. We'll just get right into the non-combats, which is going to be sliding this sub this way, sliding these 2 subs up, sliding this guy on top of the stack, and then taking the carrier, going 1, 2, 3 up there. Planes going 1, 2, 3, 4. And the last fighter going onto Hawaii itself to protect that space. All right. That, I believe, is it. Just making sure that we're not leaving ourselves too exposed here. I think that we're actually okay. I think that we are actually okay. All right. That will bring us to 20 IPCs for bonuses and everything, but also 4 here. So 24 IPCs going to the ANZAC coffers. We obviously place our purchase of 2 destroyers, and we move on to the final nation. Oh, one quick thing we forgot to do is take these ANZAC guys and put them on the American transport. Now for the French turn, it's just going to be the few remaining units we have moving. So these guys go to Iraq. This guy comes up here. This cruiser comes and joins that cruiser there. And those guys stay put. That is it. Not collecting any income. These three guys stay put. Not collecting anything. So that will bring us to the next nation and next round. Germany, round 5, coming into the round with 61 IPCs, purchasing what looks to be 8 infantry and 6 tanks, amounting to exactly 60 IPCs, so keeping 1 IPC in the bank, not wanting to turn one of these into an artillery right now, right?
I'm sure.
Okay. Oh, you do? Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll turn... He does want to turn one of these into... I don't know why I'm helping him out. This is a competitive game. Sheesh. But all right, he'll turn one of these into a... He's going to turn one of these into an artillery, and that'll make it an exactly 61 IPC purchase. All right. I guess I'm just a completionist, or whatever you call a person that doesn't like saving money on the side, even though I do it myself sometimes. So this is how it looks right now for Germany, and we're going to get into the combat move now. For combat, we got 2 infantry stepping out of southern France or out of France. Doesn't really matter. Out of one of these two. They end up here now. Out of Normandy with a fighter and a bomber, and another 2. Is that a fighter? Underneath the bomber's wings there? Yeah, it is a fighter. So, and then another 2 infantry with a fighter and a bomber into Holland. Trying to take back the west coast. Over on this side, stepping into Rostov with 3 infantry. And the stack that was in eastern Poland, it's I believe it's 8 infantry and 2 artillery are attacking the 1 infantry, 1 artillery there in western Ukraine. And then the tank and everything that was in Leningrad are attacking the 1 guy in Belarus. Did I miss anything? It's a lot of stuff that didn't move, so there'll be big non-combats. That's for sure. Big non-combat moves. All right. Let's roll these out and see how it goes. All right, so wiping off the American there, and no hits back. Wiping out the American here. 1 hit back. Taking out the Belarusian. 1 hit back, so the German infantry is gone. Taking western Ukraine with full force. The Russians got no hits back. But this is what's the juiciest. This guy, this Chad Ivan over here, completely wiped out 3 infantry all on his own. Proud of you, buddy. So that brings us to the non-combat move phase. So landing all planes in Western Germany, save for 1 fighter and 2 attack bombers in Germany proper. Sliding stuff further and further east, consolidating, and just so we got this big stack of what appears to be 14 infantry and 4 artillery in eastern Poland, and just, yeah, and then the anti-aircraft gun slid into western Ukraine. So that's how it looks there, really putting the pressure on Russia, while we try and put the pressure on Germany over here. So we'll get the purchase placed and come back with the IPC amount. It's actually 7 infantry and 1 artillery placed in Germany, 3 tanks and 3 tanks placed on the Russian factories. Well, now German, but occupied Russia. And just a quick change up in plans, the bombers actually will stay in Paris. So for IPCs, should have counted that up. Give me a sec. One final change, the sub slips out of here. It's dastardly that we forgot to kill it, and goes up to 125. So even if we take Archangel as Russia, we lose out on that bonus. Boo hiss. So, Germany's sitting at 53 IPCs. It has Norway, Denmark, Sweden bonus, and Leningrad as a bonus. So that'll bring it to 63 IPCs to the German coffers. That will bring us to the next nation. Russia, round 5, coming into the round with 34 IPCs, can be purchasing 1 fighter and 8 infantry. Let's get to the combats. So for combats, we got 4 guys stepping off the stack, moving into Belarus, followed by 2 fighters and an attack bomber, just attacking the 2 mechs and 2 tanks. The guy that was in Smolensk moves into Archangel, liberating that. Those are the only fights on the front. And of course, I mean, my favorite move that I've been waiting for since the start of the game is bringing 1 tank into Tobruk and the mech down here, and this tank turning about to go home for the non-combat move. All right, so we will roll out that fight and then get into the non-combats. Comfortably took out the 2 mechs and 2 tanks, losing 3 infantry, so Belarus is liberated. That will bring us to the non-combat move. All right, these guys here continuously moving west. The mechs that were here moved into here. The guy that was here moved up into here. One guy moved out from Stalingrad, and the other 2 moved up into Tambov. The planes that fought in Belarus came back in, are protecting the Bryansk stack. The purchase of 8 infantry and a fighter has been placed there, and this tank, let's not forget, has moved this way. The sub that was in 112 has come 1-2 down to 105 to sit on this convoy zone here in Normandy. And that is it. So that means we just have to calculate our bonus. So we are sitting comfortably at 31 IPCs there. We're down 9 on the front. That will put us at 28, but then we're up 3, 2 for Iraq and 1 for Ethiopia. So that will be 31 plus a bonus of 3, bonus of 9. So 40 IPCs go to the Russian coffers this round. We don't have the Archangel bonus because the pesky sub that we failed to eliminate. So yeah, 40 IPCs on the nose for Russia. That will bring us to the next nation. Japan, round 5, coming in with 69 IPCs. So they will be purchasing 7 subs, 1 transport, 4 infantry, and 2 artillery. So let's see what the combat move looks like. All right, quick change in the purchase. So it's changed to 4 infantry, a transport, 5 subs, and 2 destroyers. For combat,
There should still be artillery.
oh, I see. There should still be an artillery. All right, so yeah, losing some subs to gain destroyers. For combats, we got destroyer moving down in to attack this sub with a fighter. Transport coming in, offloading 2 infantry, attacking this lone ANZAC infantry in Sumatra, and the sub comes to kill the transport. And we got plane coming to kill the American transport, plane coming to kill this American transport, fighter, attack bomber, and 2 infantry attacking this American infantry and artillery combo. What else have we got? And then we also have this sub coming and attacking the cruiser with a fighter and a destroyer, 2 subs and 3 bombers coming and attacking the 4 remaining American subs. Over on this side, back again, we have 2 guys stepping out of Yunnan, attacking the stack of 3 infantry with 6 attack bombers supporting them. I think that is it. For combat moves, we'll roll all those out and see how they turn out. Starting from east to west, now knocking out the subs, subs getting no hits back, they usually never do. The cruiser got sunk but knocked out the sub. Over here, took out the ANZAC sub, no problem. All the transports that were attacked got deleted by this sub, by this fighter and this fighter. Took Borneo, lost a guy, lost both Japs trying to take Sumatra from the Anzacian infantry there. So amazing, absolutely amazing for us. That's a whole, not only 4 IPCs gone, but the bonus of 5 as well. So that's a whole potential 9 IPCs that Japan could have had that it no longer does. That's good for us, very good for us. Stepped into Burma, took that, no problem. Lost nothing. He lost nothing taking Burma. That was unfortunate for us, but it is what it is. So, everything that didn't move is now eligible to move in the non-combat phase. For non-combats, landing 3 planes. So the plane that went here, the plane that fought here had to go 1, 2. Because it went 1, 2, 3, 4. The plane that let it stay behind went 1, 2, 3. And landed with the other 2 fighters there. The bombers went home, so we got a destroyer, 2 subs, and 3 fighters, because there's a airbase there, so that's how that sea zone is protected. And if we look over here, we have the fleet that is in the south, looks like this. So a fighter landed there, a fighter and attack bomber on the carrier battleship, moved in there, destroyer and transport there. I'm assuming those came from the home island. And 2 fighters and attack bomber there. The attack bombers that attacked in Burma had to land in Yunnan, and just kind of everything that's in China moving south. Oh, that tank moved over there. All right, okay. And the Russian and Korean, not even at war with each other, but staring each other down because, maybe one day. that should be it for Japan. We will get the purchase placed and count up the income. Also, the guys that started in Kwaichou have also moved down into Yunnan. Being down Sumatra and Malaya, but having pretty much everything else, puts Japan at 58 with no bonus. So 58 IPCs collected by Japan. And you have to go ahead and place the purchase yet there, Adrian. Two destroyers and a transport placed there. And then the 4 infantry, 1 artillery, and 5 subs placed in Japan.
Actually,
Swapping a destroyer and a sub?
yeah.
Okay, swapping 1 destroyer and 1 sub. That makes sense. Trying to spread out the coverage, I assume. All right, 58 IPCs for Japan. Moving on to the next nation. USA, round 5. Coming into the round with 77 IPCs, we will be purchasing 4 subs, 4 destroyers, 1 artillery, 1 infantry, and 2 transports. So let's see what we can do for our combats. I think we have a few. They're not major, but I think we have a few. So on the Pacific side, the only combat will be this sub sliding into that destroyer right there. And on the Europe side, we have 1 transport splitting off, taking with it an infantry and a tank, going 1, 2, 3. It has to, can't offload in 125. It has to offload over there, because if it wanted to offload where the sub is, it would have to bring some sort of escorting warship in order to be allowed to ignore the sub. And honestly, that's just a better sea zone in general for this particular transport to live in. It's really out of the way. So there is that. And then also taking from the UK 1 infantry and 1 mech, and offloading them into Belgium, attacking the 1 guy there in Holland/Belgium. These 2 American fighters are in the fight. I'm just not physically putting them there because it's there's such a everything's just so congested in there. I don't want to move it and fiddle around with it. But just know that those 2 fighters are joining this fight. So we got 1 infantry, 1 mech, and 2 fighters versus that 1 infantry in Holland/Belgium. We will roll those 2 fights out and be back with how they end up. After reviewing the Luftwaffe's position, I've actually decided to attack the submarine and have my fleet there. Not attack Holland/Belgium. Move everything here. I thought for sure he could sink the fleet if it was here, but these 3 planes can't make it. 1, 2, 3. They don't start at an airbase, so that's 3 planes short, so only 5 planes can attack this. And when it's all amalgamated with the Brits, it'll really be safe. All right, so not attacking Holland/Belgium, offloading everything. Obviously, the 1 infantry and artillery anti-aircraft gun can't be a part of the attack, but that's fine. They'll offload in the non-combat. And we are attacking that sub. So that is that on that side. Now we'll roll. Now we just have that fight to roll out. All right. Boo hiss. We missed. But that is A-okay. We'll get right into the non-combats now. And we also knocked out the sub. Just forgot to mention. Now we'll get into non-combats. Starting by offloading this man and anti-aircraft gun. Moving the cruiser and transport into this sea zone with these 2 ANZACians. Sliding my fleet from Hawaii all the way down here to Queensland. I think... Oh, and yeah, the 2 guys in Malaya sit tight. I kind of forgot that I wanted to maybe take at least 1 or maybe both and take Shan State, but alas, nay, we forgot. That's okay. Yeah, and then those aircraft carriers will sit tight just to be there to bolster when I place the purchase. So yeah, we'll do that now and count up the money. All right, the purchase has been placed. We are sitting at 55 IPCs on the IPC tracker up there, and with the bonus of 20 brings us to 75 IPCs collected for the Americans. Round 6 purchase. China is still sitting at completely occupied with $2 to its name. That will bring us to the next nation. Okay, coming into round 5 with 37 IPCs on the Europe side and 13 on the Pacific side. So just because of the massive amount of factory damage, I kind of had to make the buy end up like this. So I purchased one factory repair, making it 7 damage, meaning I can place 3 guys. So I buy 3 infantry, keeping $3. So I have 3 IPCs left over on the Pacific side. Over here, I have 37 IPCs, purchasing destroyer, fighter, transport, 3 mechs, exactly 37. All right, let's get right into the combat move. A few minor things I forgot to mention on the American turn is that this transport goes 1, 2, 3 out, and we killed the sub, but it got a hit back miraculously and took out our destroyer. Just in case I didn't mention those things. All right, for combat, we have the battleship going up 1, and transport, loading a guy, offloading him in northern Italy, and the bomber coming as well. If you wonder why I'm putting so much in the sea zone, he can scramble that one fighter. And of course my battleship would probably beat his fighter, but bringing the bomber in ensures that it was not worth scrambling at all for him. And over here, we come out with 3 infantry and 3 fighters and attack bomber, and 2 fighters come out here with a destroyer to attack the sub-transport, and the cruiser destroyer go 1, 2 and attack the destroyer there. I am fairly certain that that is all the combats we want to do right now. So we'll roll out the relevant rolls and come back with the result. Took that, no problem. Took this, lost 1 guy, took out this and this, losing nothing. So very, very happy there. We'll get right to the non-combats. These guys scooched in, all planes landed back in Burma. Bringing the 2 infantry and tank up this way. The tank goes 1, 2 up here. The infantry get unloaded here. The bomber that had gone 1, 2, 3 goes 4, 5, 6 and lands there. The fleet and carriers move up here. The fleet and carrier and destroyer, and 1 fighter comes and steps off of England to join onto that carrier there. And then 3 infantry, 2 artillery, and 1 mech infantry go up into Norway as well. So Norway is kind of becoming a little bit of an allied fortress at this point. That I think is actually, yeah, that's it. That's it for non-combats. So we will place the purchase and collect income. Collecting 9 IPCs here. We got 2, 3, 1 equaling 6 plus Malaya is 3, so 9. Keeping 3 IPCs, 12 IPCs go to this side. Over here, we're collecting 41 IPCs, 36 IPCs, plus our $5 bonus brings us to 41. So 41 IPCs here. Purchases placed involve the fighter, destroyer, and transport going right here. 109 for the sea units, and the fighter obviously goes to England. And the 3 infantry is just this green chip right here that was placed. So yeah, 12 IPCs, 41 IPCs. That'll bring us to the next nation. Round 5, coming in with 13 IPCs, purchasing 1 infantry and 1 fighter. We will get into the combat moves now. Bringing 2 infantry, 2 artillery from Bulgaria down into Greece, and the fighter from southern Italy goes 1, 2. 1 tank goes into northern Italy from Yugoslavia, and 2 infantry come out of southern Italy to northern Italy. All right, we'll roll those out, see how they go. All right, completely winning in northern Italy, but we stomped the yard with him in Greece. I can't believe that happened. He came in with everything he came in with, and we even killed the fighter. Like, he didn't even choose to retreat. We got enough hits in the second round of combat, so incredible there for us. Northern Italy is back to him. Only non-combat unit he has to potentially move are these units in that one. Anything moving? The tank goes home, and these obviously aren't moving, so we'll get the purchase placed. Italy should be sitting at 11 IPCs. They have all their originals monetarily, except for this one, so they're down 1, but they're up 2. So 11 IPCs to the Italian coffers this round, and that will bring us to the next nation. ANZAC, round 5. Coming into their turn with 24 IPCs, be purchasing 2 transports and 1 destroyer for 22, keeping $2 behind. We'll get right to the combats, actually. The only combat we have is the 2 subs slipping out of here, going 1, 2, 3 to attack this battleship and carrier. Those planes will not be in the fight. I think that's all we got. This is just really cheeky of me. I don't know what's going to come of this, but we'll see what happens. We only got 1 hit and got wiped out. Probably very statistical, but whatever. This battleship doesn't start on a harbor, so I'm liking that for the Japanese turn. They have a damaged battleship. All at the price of 12 IPCs for ANZAC. That ain't too terrible. Let's get to the non-combats. For non-combat, bringing the fleet down from Hawaii, completely abandoning Hawaii. There's no threat to it. There's a lot of stuff here, but there's no transports up there. They're all over here, so we can just abandon Hawaii if you guys are wondering why I did that. If I didn't zoom in enough to show why that's happening. So the carrier will come back and the planes as well. The 2 destroyers from last turn come up. Purchase is placed. And these yeah, if anyone's wondering, also, I just decided to bring those ANZAC guys up with the American transport, because who knows what... I didn't know what it would look like over here, but I knew it would be handy to have them, and I was right. So the 2 ANZAC guys offload onto Greece. We have ANZAC soldiers on continental Europe. I don't know if I've ever had that in a game, but there they are. I know they didn't come from far away, but still, it's pretty cool. This guy's still chilling in Sumatra, the legend himself. This is Crocodile Dundee right here, if anyone's wondering. That's who he is, yeah. All right. That brings us to collect income. And I think it's still 24, but we kept 2 IPCs. So 26 IPCs to the ANZAC coffers. That brings us to the next and final nation. France, round 5. The only thing we need to do here is some non-combats. So we will put this cruiser there to help bolster the battleship and cruiser that are already there. We will put... let's see... We'll put this destroyer here. Probably going to get sunk, but better they get sunk together than alone. It's just that much more juice he has to bring here to get his island bonus. So I'm happy for that to be the case, which I think he's going to get, no problem. But still, we'll see what we can do to avoid that. This soldier can move this way, and this soldier can move this way, getting the French into Asia. This is kind of a hilarious game. I think seems to be like it's going to become a longer game. I don't think it'll end on the 6th turn like our last game did, ladies and gentlemen. I don't think so at all. All right. No income collected. That fighter... Oh, you know what? No. We want that fighter there for the scramble because we only have 3 fighters, so we want to make sure that it can scramble. Yeah, so that's it. No income to collect. That'll bring us to round 6. Germany, round 6. We are really getting deep into this game now. This is the part of any Axis and Allies game I just love. The longer it goes, the more entertaining, the more off-script it goes. I just absolutely love it. We have, for 63 IPCs, 63 IPCs, 6 tanks, 2 subs, 1 destroyer, and 1 transport. Interesting. Very interesting moves here. I wonder where that's all going to go. All right. So we will get right into the combat move. Halfway through the combat moves, Adrian thought to himself, you know what, not liking the buy, so he switched it up. So we got 3 infantry, 3 tanks, and 6 subs. Terrifying. All right, that'll be all. Let's keep moving with the combats. So for combat, retrying Rostov, because why not, right, Adrian? 3 guys stepping out of Ukraine into Rostov. They'll get it this time. We're sure they'll get it this time. 3 guys stepping out of Eastern Poland into Belarus. A fighter and an attack bomber stepping out of Germany, 1-2, to attack that cruiser. And we got the 2 bombers unescorted going into the... I'm assuming it's going to be the industrial complex. Wouldn't want to bomb anything else. I think that's it for combats, right? Just those few? Mm-hmm. Right, so yeah, just the Rostov, Belarus, Sea Zone, bombing raid. All right, we're going to roll all that out, see how we go. I will be lifting off my 3 fighters for the air battle, and we'll come back with the results. All right, okay, I feel so terrible for Adrian because when you take 3 infantry and attack 1, odds are like 80 to 90%, but he only has 1 guy left over here. He failed here in Belarus, so that's good for us. And then not only that, we knocked out a fighter here and we knocked out a bomber here. The consolation, he's got 8 damage on this factory, so there's 9 damage there. But hey, he got Rostov, so that, well, the way isn't open yet, but we'll see what he does for his non-combats. So let's just get into the non-combat. Looking at non-combats, moving everything down here that he can. So now he has quite the strong presence in Ukraine. We'll see what we do about that on our Russian turn. Looks like it's 20. This is 24 infantry here, and then 24 infantry here, sorry, and another 10 here. Looking like... Sorry, yeah. Leaving 1 guy in Eastern Poland, of course, is what he wants to do. So it's 9 infantry here, an anti-aircraft gun, 2 artillery, 9 artillery here. Still got 11 tanks, so he's built up quite the presence there in Ukraine. Over here, kind of just to protect himself. Of course, he wants to protect Denmark. He wouldn't want to see a 1-2 punch into Germany. For those that aren't familiar, there's a strait between 112 and 113, and whoever controls Denmark at the start of their turn can freely move between the strait, similar to Gibraltar. But there's not even a caveat for submarines. It's just whoever owns it at the start of their turn. So the 1-2 punch in this game is America can take Denmark, and then followed by the British going through and blitzing into Berlin. So to avoid that, rather than beefing in Berlin, he's just made Denmark completely untakeable by the Americans. Kudos to him for that. And there's what looks like 6 mechs and 2 infantry and a tank and 2 fighters and 2 tanks. It's just way more than I can shake a stick at anyways, so we'll have to look elsewhere for low-hanging fruit. I think that's it for the non-combat. The bomber obviously landed here, and discussed everything here, leaving 2 infantry, a tank, and 2 mech, and an anti-aircraft gun, and 1 artillery, 2 Italians in Western Germany. Yeah, that's about it. We will see the purchases placed and collect income. Just a quick change in the movement. These 3 tanks come out of here and end up here. We got 3 infantry that were placed, attack bomber. I think I forgot to mention attack bomber landed here. So we got 3 infantry and attack bomber in Leningrad placed there. 3 more tanks placed there, and the 6 subs placed obviously in Season 113. Germany sitting right exactly at 50 IPCs on the tracker. The way this is, they're just sitting right at 50. Only have the 1 bonus of Leningrad, so that'll put them at 55 IPCs for this turn. Moving on to the next nation. Sure. Something forgot? Can you change something now? Change it now. If you have to change it now, change it now. Few quick changes. The attack bomber stays here rather than staying up there. We got infantry there instead, and just overall, this is how it looks now. With 3 tanks, 1 anti-aircraft gun, 1 infantry, attack bomber here in eastern Poland. Just not wanting to commit too much to the defense of Novgorod is what I think Adrian's plan here is, because he doesn't want to lose it. I mean, seeing as he failed to take Belarus, those who might notice, there is a small border here between Belarus and Bryansk, meaning that all these 8 mechs have quite a bit of free movement. They can go 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's just, I just ended up being very lucky there. Honestly, I don't deserve to have Belarus, but that's the way the dice rolled, so I have it. All right, so 55 IPCs collected for Germany, but we did put a sub in not a juicy convoy zone, but a little convoy zone there. Possibly take $2 away here. Nope, 55 IPCs goes to the German coffers. Next nation, please. Russia, round 6. Time to start thinking about offensive capabilities here. With our 40 IPCs exact, we will be purchasing 10 artillery. Let's get into the combat move. Alright, so for combats, we got the juiciest. This mech goes down. It can't blitz, so it can't keep moving. But this tank has the ability to blitz in and out so that it's poised and ready to start making its way to greener pastures. Although it's sitting on green pastures, actually. It's got to leave the green pastures and get into the war zone. If this game even goes that long, we'll see. We got 2 guys stepping on Tambov and 1 guy here doing the 3-at-1 against it. But we could get just as unlucky as Adrian, so we're cheating and putting a fighter in with it. 1 infantry goes into the Baltic states and 1 infantry goes into Leningrad, because there was 1 in Archangel and 1 in Belarus. And then we split 1 of the mechs off into the Baltic states as well. And then the other 7 go into Novgorod with the guy and a fighter and a tag bomber assisting there, a fighter assisting here. Those are all the combats. So we'll roll these 3 out and see how we do. All right, we're laughing at how much better the dice seem to like me than Adrian. It feels anyways. Rostov, no problem. Losing 1 infantry here, 1 infantry there. The Rostov, we had to roll like 3 rounds of combat before I got a hit. So he rolled a 2 4 times in a row, which is like what I did when I was defending Rostov or the Baltic states. But I was getting hits every time, and he wasn't. So the dice love me this game, I guess. But they are fickle. They are very fickle. I don't expect this. I don't expect the love to stay. So we got that, and we got that, and we obviously, these were walk-ins, so we got them no problem. So we'll go to the non-combat and collect our income. Non-combats are as follows. So he has put way too much smoke against Bryansk, but we don't want any of that. Our precious stacks of Russian infantry. So these guys have to stay because they attacked. The tank that was in Iraq has gone 1-2. So we got armor back. And we have Russian armor actually back in Russia for the first time since like round 2 or 3. So that's cute. That's nice. These 11 guys moved here. The 6 guys here moved into Smolensk to catch these 3 planes. We just wouldn't want... Well, I'm pretty sure he can't attack them, but you never know. You just never know. These guys all moved. They have to stay here. So, yeah, 2 guys broke off the big stack. One went here, one here. So there's no chance of getting Leningrad back on Germany round 7. And, yeah, we just barred everything into Tambov. This way, it's kind of just a bridge between both victory cities. Neither one of them can be attacked, but I can counterattack in any direction that he wants to go from here. So that's a feel-good situation. With that being said, we will place our purchase of 10 artillery there, and actually these eight infantry actually haven't moved yet, so we will go ahead and move them. Take off the top guy and 2 chips, replace it with a green chip, and then it looks like that. All right, happy times. Let's count up how much money Russia makes. Might be the most I've ever made. All right, so counting up just on the IPC tracker, we are at 35. For the first time, we have our Archangel bonus. So that's 40, 43, 46, 49, 52, 55. 55 IPCs to the Russian coffers. Alleluia. Next nation. And round 6. Oh man, Adrian and I are laughing. This is just, it's funny. He feels like he's cooked, but he's choosing to go another round. So we'll see. We'll see what we can do here. What he can do. I feel this might be some of the best I've ever done in a game of Axis and Allies against him. He's a very formidable opponent. Okay, for 68?
Yeah. No, 58.
58 IPCs. We got 4 transports and another 5 subs. Coming in strong. All right, so we'll have to watch out and see what he's doing with that. I feel like if he can pull it back on any side, it's going to be this side. So I really got to watch out. He's a very, very proficient Japan player. To the combat move. For combat, 2 destroyers come down here with a fighter, attacking the destroyer and cruiser. We got the sub. Where was the sub? It was here, right? Where was the sub? Whatever, I'm sure it was legal. Can't remember where it was. But yeah, it was... Oh, no, it was up here, yes. 1, 2, okay. Sub and... Just gotta stop blurring the camera. Sub and fighter attack going against the 2 destroyers there, and also offloading an infantry and a artillery to get to Sumatra for that bonus, and then offloading one infantry, 2 fighters, and 1 attack to take out the 2 Americans in Malaya. Try and ixnay that ANZAC bonus. It's also worth $3, so it's not a cheap territory at all. I think that is it. Oh, never mind. We got 2 guys stepping out of Yunnan into Burma to try and fold that position yet again. Kind of becoming historically accurate in Burma there. Heavy fighting in that territory constantly, leaving a lot of bodies in that jungle. 6 attack bombers supporting those 2 infantry. I see Adrian doing a bit of counting there. Is there something else you want to add? No, that's it. Okay. All right. Well, we'll roll. It's actually only over here. We will roll these out and see how they end up.
Yeah, we're chilling.
Oh, here we got super lucky as America. We got 2 hits back on him, and he opted to lose both fighters. Okay, he really wants Malaya. I mean, it is a 5 bonus for ANZAC, and it's another $3 for Calcutta, so I guess that makes sense. We knocked 1 guy out here. We knocked 1 destroyer out here, and I just realized we haven't rolled this. We'll roll this now. I honestly, I don't deserve the amount of hits that my guys get. 2 hits here and 2 hits back here. That's crazy. He opted not to take Burma and just loses 2 infantry. So that'll move us right into the non-combat phase. Okay, everything that can move away. This submarine, which was, where was that submarine? It was here?
Yeah.
It can move more than 1 space.
That's fine.
Okay, it's in a good spot for him. All right, so it's there. Everything else flew back. These planes stayed. So this all lives here now. Just chilling, living its best life there. And down here, we got these things obviously have to stay. The battleship moving into anchor here, so that on its next turn it can get repaired. That's nice. That's getting spicy for Japan. And everything kind of else just kind of stayed put. Those 3 artillery start there? Or
No, they moved.
they moved down? Okay, so they've moved down. Everything's moved down. Purchase has been placed. We'll quickly count up how much they get. All right, after adding it all up, they are up 64. So they're not up 64, they're just at 64 on the counter, plus 5 bonus is 69. If they just taken Burma, they would have an even 70, but 69 IPCs to the Japanese coffers, no convoy zones active. They are just living the lucrative life again. Good for them. That'll bring us to the next nation. Round 6. Coming in with 75 IPCs, we'll be purchasing 1 infantry, 1 artillery, 1 minor industrial complex, 4 bombers, 1 destroyer. Let's get right into the combat move. So, starting from east to west, we will take the carrier, battleship, cruiser, and 1 fighter, and go blup, blup, and attack that destroyer. This is going to be fun. So we have that. And on this side, bringing everything down, going 1, 2, and taking everything we possibly can, offloading 1 infantry and 1 mech in there, as well as all of these fighters. So these 2 fighters will go there as well. The infantry and anti-aircraft gun are the infantry and anti-aircraft gun are have to stay on board because they can only be offloaded non-combat because the anti-aircraft gun. Now, I think I made an illegal move earlier in this game. You guys can let me know in the comments if that's what happened, because I think when I originally came up and dropped 1 guy in Normandy and 1 guy in Holland, I don't think that was allowed because I don't think there was a legal way to load just 1 guy on 2 transports there. So we'll have to check in the comments. You can let me know in the comments if that's allowed or not, if I made an illegal move. Maybe by the time you got to that point in the video, you've already written the comment. I don't know. Anyway, I think I would just have to look and see if that was a legal move or not. Something I can do at a later date and time. Right now, we just got to move on with the video. So we have 3 infantry, 2 mech, and 1 tank, and they'll just go solo against this 1 guy. They don't really need the air support. So these 2 fighters will be joining the 1 infantry and 1 mech in Holland. So that is it for fights, actually. It's more the non-combats that'll be spicier, I think. Okay, everything went off without a hitch. We just lost 1 guy in Normandy. And over here, we took this guy out without incurring any losses. And some of you might be wondering why I'm leaving this fighter here. Well, I guess I'll just have to show you later. Stick around and find out. Okay, that'll bring us to the non-combat move. Alright, my fleet moved here. Took 1 destroyer out of the stack to make a blocker. Put another destroyer there. And the 4 bombers placed there. Fleet's down here. This plane landed. This stays looking like this. This ship came out like that. And the 1 infantry and 1 anti-aircraft gun offload here. Purchase of a minor industrial complex placed in Norway. And the infantry and artillery are placed there. That will conclude America's round 6, bringing us to the blup blup next nation. United Kingdom round 6. So it feels like we're just forever fixing damage. Fixing 3 damage on the Europe side. Let's do the Europe side. 3 mech infantry for you know where. A fighter, 2 destroyers, and fixing 3 damage out of the 9 that was there. So now it's only 6 damage there in London. That all equals 41. And over here with 12 IPCs buying fixing another 3 damage, bringing that factory down to 4 damage. Got a green and a gray there. And the remaining 9 IPCs will purchase 3 more infantry. All right, let's get right into the combat moves. We're gonna do another Southern Italian raid. We're gonna see if we can get Italy twice in 1 game. Cause why not? Why not? I don't think the chances are that good for us, but collecting the. Oh, sorry, Adrian's doing a little bit of editing to my right. Sorry about that. If you just heard my voice twice, that's why. So picked up the tank onto the transport here, and 1 guy going 1, 2, 3, and picked up with the transport that was already there, the 1 British guy. If only we had 2 there. Offloading them into southern Italy. And over here, just going 1, 2, and knocking out the transport ship. And honestly, I think that those are the only 2 fights. Everything else will be non-combat. So we will, we just remove that, and we will be back with the result on this. All right, well, maybe not even that surprising of an outcome. We even lost our bomber there, but maybe we shouldn't have gone for that fight. Maybe we should have retreated after round 1. Who knows? It's fine. I think we're in a pretty commanding position in this game as it is. Let's just get right to the non-combat move. For non-combat, emptied out Norway, left a blocking destroyer so that those pesky subs can't come at my fleet with all of his ships. So we got loaded carrier, 3 destroyers protecting it because we had the 1 destroyer from here, and then we put 2 underneath it, and also forgot to place our purchased fighter there. The 2 fighters that were in the UK have landed in Normandy to help bolster it. I think that's about it. These guys haven't moved yet. Should we move them? Yeah, we'll move them. We'll load them up onto this American transport just for fun. We'll see what can't be done with that. Placed our 3 mechs there. And placed our 3 infantry. Stepped out 1 into Burma. I don't even know why, but just cause, I guess. And then placed our 3 infantry underneath the big stack. So now it is, should be 11 or 12 there now. So yeah, 12 infantry there now. And these mechs moved in, more mechs purchased, were placed, and then the 2 mechs and tank that were here also moved into India. So that concludes UK's round 6. We'll just quickly add up what they're getting here. I mean, here it's pitiful. It's just six IPCs on this side now. So we got 6 over here, and over here it should just be 37. Yeah, 37 and 6. Okay, 37 and 6. That's what it is, and that'll move us to the next nation. Italy, round 6, coming in with 11 IPCs, purchasing 1 fighter, and saving a buck to the combat move. Yeah, just deciding to help out their big neighbors, moving the 2 infantry out of Western Germany into Holland, and the fighter from Southern Italy goes 1, 2, 3 into Holland. So we'll roll that out. He failed to take it, but he took out he lost his infantry, and I lost my infantry and mech. There, that's the easiest way to put that. And then he landed the fighter here, put everything here, placed the new fighter. Italy collects 10 IPCs. Very simple, very straightforward. Moving us on to the next nation. ANZAC, round 6, coming in with 26 IPCs. Does that sound right? Yeah, 26. Yeah, because we did have Sumatra, yeah. I believe it was 26. We had 24 twice in a row, but we kept 2 last time. This cost 25. It is a strat bomber, a transport, and a sub, and that will leave us with one IPC left over. So let's get right to the combats. So we have a really funny, silly combat where the 2 guys step out of Greece, 1 into Albania, 1 to Bulgaria, putting ANZAC up 2. And then we have the one transport coming 1, 2, 3, collecting 2 guys off the stack, landing them in Java, putting us up another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, putting Japan down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, if you were wondering why I would leave 1 space open on the American carrier, it's because of this. The ANZAC fleet that was here goes 1, 2, 3, attacking this stack right here. Sure wish I had some ANZAC subs, but I don't. I just have 2 destroyers, a loaded carrier, and the fighter that was in Queensland goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, landing there. So that is why that happens in that manner. So we will roll this 1 fight out and be back with the result. We got it done. We only had 2 fighters left in the fight. 1 sinks by default and the other one lands on this carrier. But we got rid of that transport. So there are no Japanese ships in the South Ocean. Everything is up home. We are slowly but surely securing the Money Islands for good. So that's exciting. That's really cool. Happy about that result. Obviously, that result was a walk-in, so we just get to the non-combats. And I think the only non-combat is moving these guys up here and then placing the purchase. That should really be it for that. But now we can count up what we got for bonus. We only have the 5 bonus for here. We don't have Malaya yet. So we just have 5, but we have a lot of territory we've taken. We've got 4 here and 2 there. So that puts us up 6. So we're sitting at 16 on the map, plus our 5 bonus, 21 IPCs, and we saved 1. 22 IPCs go to the ANZAC coffers, bringing us to the next nation. France, round 6. what to do is France. I mean, there's really not much to deliberate. I almost want to just move nothing other than these few infantry. Now that this is Russian, we can move these this way, this guy this way, this guy this way. And I actually kind of like that fighter, the French fighter, staying in the UK, just in case the bomber tries to do another bombing run. So yeah, we'll just do that then. All right, that and the cruiser stays here. And we've been going over some of the footage. I apologize, and also write it in the comments. I really apologize for the microphone, for the audio. How there's that weird crinkle. We'll look into getting that fixed and maybe get some better equipment to make these videos. This is just a hobby at the moment, so we'll see what we can do. Bear with us. Apologize for that. But round 6 is over, ladies and gentlemen. That moves us to round 7. Germany, round 7. Coming in with 55 IPCs. We'll be purchasing 3 tanks and 3 bombers. That's exciting. Very aggressive purchase. So we'll get right into the combat now. A pretty big attack happening here. We will need to battle board it. For sure, because we need to see more clearly what's here on the battle board. It looks pretty messy. But we also need no wait, we don't need the battle board yet. He's moving into Bryansk. Rest assured, I think I'm going to be attacking this stack though, on my Russian turn, just to see what happens. We want to see the juicy results there. All right, so I think those are the only 2 attacks, other than one sub stepping out and attacking the destroyer. Is that right, Adrian? Is that it for attacks? That's it. All right, okay, so that is it then. All right, big fight, little fight. One other thing we're doing is, or Adrian's doing, not me. I have no say in this. He puts one guy into Holland to retake it for free. And yeah, this is how this fight looks on the battle board. So we will roll this small fight, big fight. One thing I forgot to mention is that he did attack with 1 infantry and 1 TAC bomber, this guy in the Baltic states. We just finished rolling all the fights except for the big one. We got the hit back there, no hit back here, and he successfully sunk us here. Now, we will roll this one. We covered these fights, and this is how this one ends up, with a devastating Allied victory, knocking out, in the last round, even knocking out all of his planes. We don't know, because we don't use a battle calculator here, we don't know what the odds are going in, we just have our own intuition. We like to keep it as competitive as possible and play without the battle calc. We find it just takes the fun away. So maybe I was favored in that fight. Looking at it, I probably was. But I think Adrian's just throwing the last that he has at me here. Okay, so we'll do the non-combat and then get into Russia's turn. All right, so putting a big stack of 1 artillery, 1 anti-aircraft gun, 3 bombers, 6 mech, and 1 tank. The bombers are placed from the purchase, leaving the stuff in Denmark to keep Berlin safe. Obviously the one guy that took Holland, Belgium. This anti-aircraft gun moves into the Baltic states. The reason for that is because my mechs could go 1-2 and take Poland, which obviously he cannot abide. And then moving the anti-aircraft guns into Bryansk to keep himself safe from, or not safe, but to keep himself, to bolster his defense a little bit more. All right, that concludes Germany's turn. How much money is Germany making? I believe that this chip has to come off because you took that. I believe it's going to be significantly less than normal. No bonus. We'll just have to count it up real quick. Looking it over, it looks like only 42 IPCs go to Germany. So we will give them 42 IPCs and move on to the next nation. Russia, round 7, coming into this with 55 IPCs. We'll be purchasing 9 tanks and keeping 1 IPC in the bank. We'll go right to the combat move now. Okay, for combat move, we just emptied everything. So we had 3 guys here that went to Bryansk, a tank that went to Bryansk, everything that was in Tambov went in, everything in Russia went in. We had a guy in Belarus that went in. We had 7 mechs that were in Leningrad that went 1-2. They went in. And all of our planes went in. And I think that's actually the only fight. Like I just put everything I could possibly put into it. And this is how it looks now. So that is it, really. It is, for anyone wondering, it is 10, 20, 30, oh goodness, it's like some 40 some infantry, maybe even 50. And then because there's more, I think it's well over 50 Russian infantry versus 33 German infantry, 11 artillery, 1 mech, and 22 tanks, and 2 anti-aircraft guns. So, yeah, we're going to roll this out, come back with the result. And a big boo-hoo. We lost the fight, so we consolidate everything back. The 11 guys and 2 anti-aircraft guns that were here go in here. There was 4 anti-aircraft guns here. One had to split off and go here to protect this vital spot right here where he would get a bunch of money in the next turn. And yeah, we just had to retreat back to Moscow to yeah, we couldn't get him. We got him all the way down to only 3 infantry remaining though, and I just felt like if I were to continue it, his tanks would start getting would easily clear through mine. This way, if he does attack though, it'll be very harsh for him. He would start losing important stuff immediately. So I feel like this is just better for us. Unfortunately, we are leaving our Leningrad open to him again. So, you know, kind of is what it is. This anti-aircraft gun, I just realized, can't move in there, Adrian. You never did take this. So that'll have to just stay here. Doesn't even matter because we chose to attack this way, so I never did go to Poland. Didn't notice it during my... Maybe I would have done that instead. But it's fine. It's okay. It's all good. I think we're drawing towards the end of the game here. We'll see how Adrian feels about his Japanese move. Let's just quickly count up what we were making for money, and then we'll be back. All right, so we are sitting at 34 IPCs. Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, 34 IPCs, and we're making a bonus of 20 with all of our bonuses together. So we are sitting at 54 IPCs, but we kept 1, so it's 55. We're back to 55 IPCs. For Russia, that brings us to the next nation. Well, after reviewing, Adrian feels that it is appropriate to resign. We had a big fight, and sure, he has some options with this, but I guess it maybe feels kind of limited, and also just not feeling very confident here. Western Germany is about to fall. So is southern France, and you know, America's going to start building there. The UK might build a factory here. It's just the jaws of death are closing in from the west, and it's too tough a nut to crack over here. He could try attacking it, but just from him and I looking at it, I think the odds are pretty deplorable, honestly. So just like we said, as soon as he will attack 1 round, and I will immediately chew through those few infantry and start getting into the good units very quickly. With I still have big stacks of infantry left. I think I still have 24 infantry there, 12 artillery, 7 mech. So that's all of that added up to, I think that's over 40 at 2 already, and then 10 tanks at 3, attack bomber at 3, a fighter at 4, and then not to mention 5 anti-aircraft guns that are going to soak up that many hits for his first round of combat. So yeah, I mean, he does have the 3 extra tanks and the attack bomber, but not enough, ladies and gentlemen, not enough. These bombers can't reach because they were placed in Paris instead of Western Germany, so that might have made a difference, but fortunately they can't. And I guess in Japan, similarly, he's got similar sentiments. There's no chance for him to get the 6 victory cities here. That's really what it comes down to. If there's no chance to get the victory cities, then you might as well. Then the game's got to be over for the Axis, right? So we hope you enjoyed this video. We have shook Adrian's hand, and this was a very, very good game. So probably what you can expect to see sometime in the future now is a rubber match. We're going to go for the 3rd game, but we have no idea when it's going to come out. Oh yes, Adrian also just reminded me that at the time of this video, we are also currently filming a 2v2 where Adrian and I go against 2 guests, and that is a really, really cool game. Hopefully you guys keep your eyes open for that. Again, because that might look seamless, but we're actually doing these videos over multiple sessions, multiple days. It takes a long time to put a video like this together. All of us got lives and families and stuff. So if you're wondering why a video takes so long, it's just whenever we can get around to doing it, then we get it done. Thank you all for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. Have a good one.